And welcome everybody to One Heart, One Mind Center for Spiritual Living. And I've got what I think is a really nice way to kick off our service today with a song from Eddie Watkins Jr. Just a nice way to, it's called Feel the Love. So we'd be feeling the love today. I think I'll do the advanced because it's not a video. We'll just share computer sound. And that makes it a little easier. All right, here we go. Here's Eddie.
Love is all around. Open up your heart.
Yeah.
The birds, the bees, the sky, and the trees. Sings me awake as if it's telling me to take a moment to give praises to the Lord above and to open up and feel the love right here, right now. Open up your heart and feel the love. Smell of the coffee in the kitchen wafting up, and a tear comes to my eye. I hear children laughing outside across the street, reminding me to just open up and feel the love. Love is all around. Open up your heart and feel the love. You gotta let it on in.
Open up and feel the love. I love Eddie. He's just got the best music. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
And I want to invite our practitioner of the day, Ralane Clarke, to kick us off with a prayer and some words, whatever it is she'd like to say. Good morning, Ralane.
Good morning. Hi, everyone. This morning, I kind of like to combine a definition and a prayer all together. So let's see how it goes. All right. So I've been thinking a lot about being at one with yourself. And so this definition is that, and I really liked it. And then also, I'm going to end with a little short prayer from Louise Hay. So let's just close our eyes. We're feeling the love already. So let's just go with that, feeling the love and the peace and the energy of the new year within ourselves. And so I know that God is present right here, right now, in this very moment, as are the archangels. We know they're always with us, and the guardian angels at our vibrational level and above. And Spirit is in us and all around us, through nature, through animals, through wildlife, through Mother Earth planet. And so as we feel the oneness with ourself, it's really the oneness with God. One with body, mind, and spirit is really just one, being one with yourself, all of that together. So being one with yourself is to be fully in tune with your thoughts and emotions and physical sensations. Experiencing a deep sense of self-awareness and acceptance. Essentially feeling completely comfortable and aligned with your true identity without internal conflict or dissonance or resistance. As we hold self-awareness for ourselves, we recognize and understand our own thoughts, our own feelings, and motivations without any judgment. We embrace all aspects of ourselves, including and especially our so-called flaws and imperfections. There's a state of calmness and tranquility within yourself, even amidst challenges. And being true to your values and expressing yourself genuinely. So this is what I hold to be true for each and every one of us, because we're all practitioners of life. Practitioners for ourselves, practitioners for every person that we connect with, practitioners with every energetic reverberation that we give or feel through our atmospheres and everyone else's atmospheres. We are truly one with everyone as we are returned to ourselves and really understand our oneness with ourselves. And Louise Hay says, "You are great. There is no one else like you on the planet. There never has been, and there never will be. You are forever a unique divine creation." I'll just agree with Louise Hay and say, and so it is.
Wow. That was absolutely lovely. Thank you so much for that. I really, really felt that. It was powerful. So I'm going to follow it up with a song from, oh, actually, first let's do this is the affirmation I wrote on the fly.
January's affirmation. Today, I am renewed in mind, heart, and body. I enter the new year living in my divine nature. I live in God, I live in peace, and I live in love. I live in joy, and I'm so very grateful. And so it is. Great flowers, Michelle.
It was short but to the point. All right, and now I'm going to do this song by Gary Lynn Floyd. Here. And this one is just, today's talk is exactly what Ralane just spoke to, really about our oneness and the recognition that as we walk through our daily life, we can see that everything is an expression of the divine, everything. So I just want to play his song here. Oops. No, that's not what I want to do. There we go. And get it. All right. Here's Gary.
Every step is holy, every breath is life, every moment precious when held up to light. Every heart connected, each the face of God. Grace has shown me every step is holy. Every step is holy. Every step is holy. Every breath is life. Every moment precious when held up to the light. Every heart connected, each the face of God. Grace has shown me every step is holy. Every step is holy. Holy, holy. Everyone, every breath, every step is holy. Every step is holy. Every breath is life. Every moment precious when held up to the light. Every heart connected, each the face of God. Grace has shown me every step is holy. Every step is holy. Every step is holy. Every step is holy.
Oh, every step is holy. And that's really what we're focusing on today. So as always, I just want to say good morning and welcome to One Heart, One Mind Center for Spiritual Living. And as always, however you're connecting with us in real time or in replay, you're welcome in this virtual space where we meet. Thank God for technology. Loving it. So, I also trust that anything that you experience while you're here at this Sunday service benefits your life in some way, that it uplifts you in some way that will enhance your experience of the God within you so that you will truly know who you are and feel it and live from it. And welcome to 2025. Welcome to January. And in January, if you've been around Science of Mind for any time, you know that we usually revisit the basic spiritual principles that are the foundation of the Science of Mind philosophy. We've always called it Back to Basics week or month, I'm sorry. And after 17 years of putting together Sunday messages for January, I'm always looking for a fresh approach. I don't want to continue to give the same message. And luckily for me, there is always a fresh approach, because I'm never the same person from year to the next, from one year to the next, and neither are you. And because of that, we have the opportunity to look at our most basic spiritual principles through fresh eyes, to feel them from a fresh heart, and have a fresh desire to express the magnificence of God that is in and through us, and live it as our human lives. And what I've discovered is that as I continue to dive deeper and deeper into these basic spiritual principles with an open willingness to see them in a fresh way, I uncover more and more and more of who I am in God, and how I can express that divinity in my daily human life. And I'm sure this is true for all of us. The more we are present with who we are in God, with our divine nature, the more familiar we become with it, and the more we express it. We can't help it. If it is our identity, then we're going to express it. But what a gift that is. What a gift life offers us to continually, unfold and expand and reveal the magnificence of God in new and fresh ways. In the Science of Mind text, on page 34, which is really right smack dab in the middle of the, I think the first page of the Science of Mind text is 25, so it's not very far in. But Ernest Holmes said this. He said, "There is that within us which partakes of the nature of the divine being. And since it partakes of the nature of the divine being, we are divine. We are divine." This is a very big, bold claim. We are God. We're not just part of God. We're all of that God is. And if this is true, and I believe it is, it means that all we are or ever will be, or all that we have or will ever have, partakes of this same nature, partakes of the same nature of God. It's all God. We share or partake, as Holmes said, of the nature of God. There is no other way that it could be. If all you have is God and you want to make something, it's going to be made out of God. If we're all God stuff, God's nature is our nature. And that's our topic for the day. God's nature is our nature, is the Sunday message. Holmes reminds us over and over again, in and through his teaching, that we experience our divine nature to the degree that we feel and embody our oneness with it. And for most of us, unless we're already ascended masters, and I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure I'm not yet an ascended master, this is our growing edge. And this is the growing edge of our human journey, to remove the blocks to knowing and experiencing our divine nature. And if you're anything like me, and again, I believe you probably are, you've collected quite a few of these blocks along the way. But the good news is, as surely as we have created these ideas and perceptions, because that's what the blocks are, we can, in our oneness with the mind of God, in our oneness, transform them through the power of love. We can invite in a shift in consciousness to move us from fear, because that's what any idea of separation is based in fear. We can invite a shift of consciousness from fear into love. This is our divine heritage. This is our divine birthright. This is who we are, and we can move into it simply by changing our perception. At our New Year's Day gathering that we had last Wednesday, which was so very, very enjoyable, we shared stories of our experience with our oneness with God. Those moments, and usually kind of rare and fleeting, when we have felt completely and totally one with God, where there is absolutely no separation between us and our Creator and the world around us, anything around us. Gisela called it a cosmic consciousness of oneness, and I love that. And the Buddhists call it the Satori moment. It's that moment of sudden insight that really profoundly impacts our lives in some way. And I suspect that we've all had these moments, some more dramatic than others, but moments where we've glimpsed the reality of life beyond just our material world, where we felt one with that cosmic consciousness, with infinite mind. I've had a handful of these experiences, a couple that were pretty dramatic, but I can't help but think that the moments that are even more remarkable are the moments of oneness that occur when we're just going about our daily lives, and we suddenly have a feeling of oneness with everything and everyone around us. When some ordinary moment becomes extraordinary, because we feel the presence of God in everything. That's why I played that song, Every Step is Holy. When we feel God in everything and nothing else, no separation at all. These are the moments that, to me, are what being human is all about. The spiritual teacher Deepak Chopra, who I'm sure you know, said that cosmic consciousness seems like something far off, some mysterious thing, but in reality, we're using it all the time. And it's just like a hologram. It only takes one little fragment to reflect all of the aspects of the whole. One thought of God to reflect the wholeness of God in and through everything. And we can do that whenever or wherever we happen to be. We can call in one idea of God and see it reflected in and through everything that we're involved in. So I found this story that I think kind of illustrates this idea. It was told by the Trappist monk Thomas Merton. I think of Merton as a Christian mystic, really. And Merton tells the story that once he was talking to a Zen novice who had just finished his first year of living in a monastery. And Merton asked him what he'd learned during the course of his novitiate. And Merton said that he expected to hear some stories about his encounters with enlightenment or discoveries of the spirit or even altered states of consciousness or reality. But that's not what he heard at all. But the novice said that during his first year in the contemplative life, he had simply learned, I love this, to open and close doors. And Merton said he inquired further and he asked him, "You opened and closed doors?" And the novice explained, he said, the quiet discipline of not acting impetuously, of not running around slamming doors or not hurrying from one place to another, is where his spiritual journey in the monastery began. He said it was the beginning of his process of spiritual growth. And Merton reflected he loved this answer. And he said he learned to open and close doors. This exemplifies spiritual enlightenment through the play of daily living. Enlightenment through the play of daily living. I love that. And it doesn't take much to find that. Just that, like Deepak Chopra said, just one idea of the divine is in this. Doing the ordinary while being completely absorbed in divinity in each moment, in each action. This is living our divine nature. And, I can't say that while I'm moving through my daily life, I spend all my time thinking about how I am showing up as God with every little thought and feeling and action. But I have to say that it is much more a part of my dailiness than it used to be. I do it much more often. I find myself pausing to think about who I am in this situation or in any given activity. And the more I do that, the more present I am with the God of my inner being, and the less reactive I am to what happens and what's going on around me. And I'm certainly still a work in progress. I'm certainly still learning and growing. But what I've been doing lately is that every time I get the slightest bit rattled or worried or confused or uncomfortable with something, whatever it is, a thought, something I hear or something I see that I don't like, I just stop and I ask myself, what are you really upset about? And you know what? The answer is always the same. The answer is always, I am feeling separate from God, and I am feeling separate from my divine nature and from my good. I'm not seeing through the eyes of God and through the eyes of love. And then I can pull myself back into a moment of oneness. And I've found, remarkably, that this pause and this simple question brings me back into a state of peace and into a state of comfort. And guess what? It's been working. And honestly, I have to say, I wasn't sure it would. I'm actually not sure why this surprises me so much, but it makes me think that there must still be a place in me that believes that I'm separate from God. There must still be a place in me that does not completely believe that I am God incarnate, as are you. Clearly, there is a place in me that doesn't completely know who I am. And so I'm willing to know who I am more and more deeply through this year. This is my intention. And through my spiritual practice of quiet contemplation and prayer and meditation, and through the moments in the busyness of my life, I am willing to see the divine, to know whom I am. There are times in my life when it kind of feels like I'm almost living in two worlds. Like I have one foot in the endless love of the divine and the other foot in the world of ego, and an ego that feels like it's separate and often alone. And while intellectually I know that love is our natural state and that love is the nature of God and love is the nature of the universe, sometimes it actually seems almost foreign to me in the middle of the bustle of life. Like it feels like I'm trying to buck the system, when my goal is to be in my natural state of love, when I'm living in a world where thoughts of blame and judgment can seem more natural or more real than thoughts of love and forgiveness. It's kind of crazy. And I think that this is what our personal spiritual journey is all about as human beings. This is our growing edge. It's about making our identity in God so real that we feel comfortable and at home acting lovingly, seeing good no matter what circumstance we're in, no matter what's happening in our life. Just participating with life in a really positive way, in our thought, in our feeling, and in our actions. While we're still living within the activity of a world that tells us very loudly and in no uncertain terms that we're separate from each other, separate from our good, separate even from God. And all the while, our true home is right where we are. It's in the changeless, infinite, indestructible, loving reality of God. This is the place where we all truly live and where we all truly belong. This is our natural home. So here's the thing. The nature of the divine, the fundamental spiritual principle of life can be encompassed all in one word, and that word is oneness. We are one with God. Just like a wave is one with the ocean and a sunbeam is one with the sun. We've all heard those examples. I love the quote from Thich Nhat Hanh that enlightenment is that moment when the wave realizes it's the ocean. It's that moment. And Ernest Holmes said that, you know what? I remembered as I was putting together my talk today that there was a line in the Science of Mind text where Ernest just firmly says, one. There are three places in the Science of Mind text where he says the same thing. One, one, one. I think he really believes it. And it's true. One, one, one. In all, over all, through all. And he said, we talk, live, act, believe, and know that we are the center in this one. We're not separate from it. We live our lives in it. You know, just as Jesus said, the Father and I are one. He taught about the one life and the way in which we live, move, and have our being. And surely these spiritual teachers experienced this oneness that they spoke about. And we have too. We just have to pay attention to it. And that's what I was reflecting, is that the more I pay attention to what is in the middle of the activity and the busyness of my life, the more I see the oneness, the more I focus on the unity of all things. You know, if you hang around metaphysical teachings long enough, you'll hear all the jokes about oneness. So, you know, the one like you become one with the sofa on Sunday afternoon, or the Buddhist ordering a hot dog from the vendor saying, make me one with everything. It's funny, right? But here's the thing, oneness is not a theory. It's not just a clever idea. It's a great reality. And making a commitment to live in this great reality of our oneness, it really isn't for sissies. You know, as we all know, the spiritual path isn't always easy, but it is the path of great peace and great love and great joy. It calls us to be dedicated to the embodiment of who we already are, who we actually already are in God. We don't have to become something that we're not. We just have to uncover it and embody it, and have a willingness to let go of, or I like to say, I think this is more to the point, to transform who we used to be. But as you can imagine, changing an entire thought system of fear-based thinking overnight into love-based thinking, it takes a little effort. You know, seeing our oneness rather than our separation does require some practice, but it's worth it. And unlike a physical journey that we undertake, like, I don't know, visiting Yosemite or Yellowstone or the beach or wherever, or the moon, we don't have to wait until we arrive to experience the beauty and the peace and the magnificence and the joy of the place. A spiritual journey actually requires that we experience the beauty, the peace, the magnificence, and the joy right now. Our oneness is born in establishing ourselves in a consciousness of what we want to experience. Consciousness first. You know, we have to raise our vibrational frequency to the level of the aspects of the divine that we want to demonstrate. We embody the truth in God first, and then we experience our good on the material level, in the material reality. What do we say? Consciousness always precedes form. We demonstrate who we are, and our spiritual journey is to embody who we already are in God and nothing else. It sounds so easy when I say it like that. So practicing over and over the path of thinking with love, as God would have us think, it dissolves the power of fear. If fear ever had any power, love dissolves any loveless thinking and any idea of our separation from God and from our good. And nowhere are we given a more powerful opportunity to practice thinking with love rather than fear than in our relationships with each other. Our relationships teach us how to take complete responsibility for our lives, to develop the ability to respond from love-based thinking rather than from fear-based thinking. We've all had these experiences. You know, here's an example of what I mean. So imagine there's someone in your life, doesn't matter who, They can be a close friend, a family member, a neighbor, a coworker. And imagine that this someone is always unkind to you. They're just not very nice to you. And because of some past experience, some unhealed place in you, it triggers you. And you're tempted to respond from a closed heart, to judge, not from love, to judge and defend yourself from them with thoughts of anger and resentment. You might feel completely justified in your response. And maybe you are. However, when you respond in kind, then you're both caught up in a world of fear and discomfort. And now you're expressing it collectively. And this just leads to this vicious cycle of more fear. A better way is to see their unkindness as a call to compassion. Not always easy. I'm not saying it is. And you may have to take a break first. But the truth is, they've fallen asleep to who they really are. And their falling asleep to who they are can be a temptation for us to fall asleep to who we are as well. But if we are on a dedicated spiritual path, then we have a call to remain awake. Even when others fall asleep and forget who they are, ours is a path of love, to remember who we truly are. Relationships can be our most powerful teacher. I truly have found that to be true. And isn't that what Jesus meant when he said, love your enemies as yourself? To see no separation, even if they do, to see our oneness without exception. So I found a final story that I think beautifully illustrates this idea. It shows us, I think it's a good example of how to stay present to who we really are in God and how to let go of our ego when it starts to get in the way, when it comes, when we want to respond from our ego to other people and to how they've treated us. It's a powerful way to live and lends itself to really a life of deep peace. So anyway, the story goes, it's a story about a woman who plays soccer. And she plays soccer. She says she plays soccer because it motivates her to exercise her spiritual muscle and express spiritual qualities in her life. It helps teach her this. So it helps her practice being in the moment, to be fully engaged, to feel her connection with others. So this soccer player, she recounts a time in a particular really competitive game. She said it was late in the game and the score was tied, and she found herself in a great position to score the winning goal. I can just imagine. And her teammate passed the ball to her, but a player from the opposing team closed in fast on her. And the two of them were both going for the ball at the same time. And she said all of her competitive juices kicked in and they were flowing in her, and then her ego got involved and she threw her body at the opposing player and she tried to knock her down. Well, she slipped and she fell clumsily into the ground, and the other player got the ball, and the other player made a good play, and the other team won the game. And she reflected afterwards that she realized that if she had stayed present and focused in what she was doing, rather than the other trying to letting her ego get involved and trying to knock the other player out, instead of trying to change the other woman, she probably would have gotten the ball and scored the winning goal. But she didn't. And what a great lesson. And we all have those moments when, when we fall down and we make mistakes. But if we can, I think it is, identify with something larger than just that isolated moment, that something larger is infusing this moment, we're much more likely to maintain that sense of oneness in whatever's happening in our daily lives, in whatever moment we're in, just to be present with the divine, to see no separation between us. I truly believe this is what our spiritual path, the path to embody our oneness with our own divine nature, with the nature of God, this is what we're called to. You know, this is how we embody the divine nature and move it and express it in and through our human nature. And what an incredibly powerful place to live from knowing who we truly are. And that is my intention for this new year, to fully embrace my God nature as my human nature. So let's pray around that. So let's move into that state of oneness. We know that all there is God. There is nothing else. There can be nothing else. And within the high vibration, the infinite mind of possibility and potential and richness and love, everything that we could ever, as human beings, as spiritual beings, want or need or desire or want to feel already exists there. We're in it already. And in this oneness, I speak my word for and about each and every person that is on this call, for all of humanity, for life itself, for our beloved country, for our beloved planet, that we know who we are, that we live who we are, that we identify with the reality of our divine nature, and that we express that in every aspect of our human lives. Ah, what a glorious thing to do, to express the magnificence of God in every imaginable area of our human existence, and what is good for us and what uplifts and benefits our life, uplifts and benefits the whole. I'm just grateful for this. I just live in that sense of gratitude that opens and expands and honors all of it. So from this place of knowing, of gratitude, and of conviction, I release this powerful prayer, this powerful thought and feeling and word into law, which always has no choice but to say yes. And together in agreement, we say, and so it is. So it is. So I am going to change my view from speaker to gallery so I can see all your lovely faces. Woohoo! Oh, Claire joined us. Hi, Claire. And let's see, whoever would, let's see, Lisa or Rob, who's doing the, Lisa says, did you do it last week, Lisa?
It's me.
It's
I'm sorry, I just had trouble. I
no
couldn't
worries.
find to unmute.
We're all good. And let me get
Okay. Well, this is our
Okay.
moment to be generous and to be grateful for our center and for each other, that we are together and participating in this wonderful growth and evolution of our spiritual life in 3D.
And I am just going to
Put
share,
up the
share the ways to give, because if you don't know it by now, just pop me a text.
yes, because
Oh,
Venmo is a nice way to do it, an easy way, or if you prefer to send something by mail, the address will be on the screen at any moment now.
well, actually, I didn't
There
post
it is. Oops.
I
Oh,
just
well,
posted the
why don't we say this, and then if you want to post the other, you can.
yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Okay. Just say together, everything flows from the nature of God's good. We give and receive from this flow in gratitude and love. We rest in the infinite giving nature of spirit. And so it is.
And so it is. Oh. And so I'll put up the other. I think everybody pretty much knows, but if you don't have the physical address.
Sorry, I don't have it handy, or I would
And
just
then I've
say it.
got it right here. There it is. It's 1637 East Valley Parkway, number 2035 in Escondido. And that's our P.O. box, basically. It's a little office place. And I do get mail there. Oops.
That's good.
I accidentally stopped it before I was ready to, but that's okay. So as far as our, I'll come back to you for the benediction, Lisa. As far as our announcements, tomorrow we'll be doing our prayer group at 6 o'clock. I was the only one on the prayer group last week. So I prayed by myself, but that's okay. But I hope to see more of you this week. And then Tuesday we're skipping, and then on the 14th with Ralane and I will be facilitating a new class based on David Spangler, who is the Findhorn guy. He has a really incredible, it's very aligned with Science of Mind. There's nothing really different about these ideas of law of manifestation, but I like his take on it. And so we've designed a class called the Law of Manifestation that is based on the principles of this book, based on the principles of metaphysics and Science of Mind, but it should be fun. So, did you want to say anything about it, Ralane, or are you?
You covered it, Michelle.
Okay, and there's Jim. Hello, Jim. And then I guess that's about it. Yeah, Lisa, would you like to do our benediction? And then I have some closing music for us.
Okay. So why don't we pull our consciousness together and take a nice deep centering breath. And I know you all join me in deep gratitude for the blessings of this service. It began with Ralane talking about our being aware and kind to the oneness of each and every one of us and the connection with spirit, and knowing that we are one with spirit, and therefore we are able to grow and forgive ourselves and others and reconnect if we've separated ourselves in some way with the unity and oneness of all that is. And then Reverend Michelle blessed us with that wonderful sermon to once again continue to remind us of our unity, our oneness, and to suggest how it's possible for us to continue growing in that recognition that creates the love and peace within that allows us to live a life in peace and joy and opening evolutionary extension into cosmic consciousness. And so I know that each of us can go away from this union with one another today and begin to find new ways to practice whatever brings us into that state of consciousness, that place that allows us to suddenly open up and be aware of that wonderful connection and oneness that is over, under, and around and through us and through everything that exists. And that joyful union is what creates the life that we each want to be living, and the feeling that we each want to be experiencing of our connection, and the peaceful joy in whoever we are, no matter what we begin to think are flaws, because flaws can also be gifts. And so I release this prayer into the law and into the words of Ernest Holmes that we are one, one, one. And so I release with great thanksgiving, release into the law by saying, and you can join me.
Okay.
There, one,
Okay.
I'm sorry. It is done.
Oh, thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
Thank you, sweetheart. That was
Sorry,
beautiful.
I got a little lost in there.
That's okay. Sometimes we get a little lost in God. So I have a song from, who's it from? Trying to remember.
a good singer.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm getting there. Here, I'm just gonna play it. I don't remember who. Oh, Trisha Bahai.
No walls between our hearts, and no walls between our souls. Where you begin and where I start, who I am and who you are. Oh, we are one. We are one. We are one love. One love without an end. One love, no us or them. Though we seem different, we're more the same. Children of the light that never fades. Oh, we are one. 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 One love. One love. One love. One love. One love. One love. Oh yeah. One love. One love. One love. One love. One love. We are one. We are one. We are one. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. We are one. One love. We are one. One love. We are one love. Yeah, yeah. One love. 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 One love.
Oh, yes, we are. I love that song. I thought it was a perfect cap to the talk. Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody. And I'm going to turn off our recording now.